Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. So, 3 song styles to use to find the best gear. Let's do this. I've got 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here. And they're 3 very different types of styles. This is Boyz II Men style, and what's special about that is that it's an a cappella version where you don't have any structure for the hi-fi gear to hold on to. So most tracks that most people listen to has some kind of a structure, some kind of a priority, using some instrument to do something, And when you don't have that, when you just have pure voice, pure emotion going up and down the scale, just like in these 3 songs I'm going to show you now, it's very, very, very demanding and very difficult to get gear to make that relevant, so it doesn't become flat, insignificant, and wussy and awkward. And that's this type of music here, We've got this one here, Boyz II Men, and we've got this one here, again, Boyz II Men. And we've got this one here. Very good, emotionally deep, connective sound, but very difficult to play on, I would say, a lot of regular gear or a lower class gear. So it also depends on, everything else that I say on my channel, the room, how you set up the gear. So it's not just the gear alone, but I'm telling you guys this as a beacon of light, so you could use this to kind of guide yourself towards gear that is better, because it is very difficult, especially when you're a guy and you're listening to a lot of gear, and you typically want to listen to tracks that are based on instruments, sound effects, and stuff like that. We all want to listen to these cool tracks, but sometimes we have to listen to some weird stuff to kind of, figure out what's really good. Not just what sounds good, what's pretend hi-fi, but what's really good. Because these are very basic things that a lot of gear out there has a lot of trouble dealing with. So I'll let you figure that out for yourself. And 2 other tracks here, which can easily sound like this Mariah Carey version here, can sound very flat, boring, weird, mixed, harsh. So you're not really forced to listen to it. It's very, very difficult making this thing sound relevant. And this one here, Bet You Gonna Know, from Mariah Carey, can sound very weird and flat, especially on the higher end gear. So try and also perhaps do that a couple of times. Listen to that one. Also, it can be very unpleasant listening to that track on a lot of plingy gear. And then there's this Jeff Beck version of "'Cause We Ended as Lovers" here. Look for that version here with Eric Clapton. I think it's like this on the thumbnail. Look for that, because that's a really good track, but it can easily get very two-dimensional, very messy, very unstable. So the sound regulation goes out of control. So these are just very 2 different styles of sound that isn't very regular. It isn't very tuned into the mainstream. So it can be difficult playing this type of music. And I think that if you play that once in a while to test equipment, then you can more easily filter out the gear that's not really that good. And in the end here we have 2 structure-based tracks, which is Trentemøller Evil Dub, and then we have Anonymous Farukas Pepe Romero. These 2 tracks are absolutely brilliant. My one friend showed me these tracks, and they're really, really good for not just finding the gear, but figuring out how the gear couples together with the room and stuff like that. And like I've written down, this can easily sound very messy, very hyped up, or normalized in a very digital way. So you want these things to happen and not happen that I've written down here. These are very, very good pieces of tracks that will help you on your way to not just when you found your gear tuning it in, but perhaps finding some newer gear or older gear. You could be looking at some gear on the used market. So I suggest that if you can, don't go with the mainstream popular stuff that's on Spotify, Qbuzz, Tidal, places like this. That's very beat oriented, or uses some instruments in a way where it kind of it has to deliver the message through the instruments. I feel that these are 3 different styles that you should perhaps look into, because these 3 different styles will really help you guide you to the really good gear. I feel that a lot of gear out there wants to kind of show off by just overemphasizing the structure, just going do 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 do, giving too much energy to the drums or the guitar or whatever, or making it too fast, or just kind of overloading you in a way so you're kind of overwhelmed which is nice to experience for a short amount of time, but I think this will kind of help you filter out that pretend hi-fi gear. So I mean, I couldn't stand listening to this type of music before. It was pretty horrible. Very simple, very flat, just very sissy, wussy, generalized way where I just couldn't see any beauty, any relevance. But once I set up my gear in a proper way, so I got the gear and then I set it up in a proper way, I just felt that it was so engaging that it's almost like you got possessed by some kind of spirit, and you got this sort of presence sucked into you, so you became almost like in the Exorcist, just completely you just completely let go of yourself and fall into this certain type of tone and mood, which you need. You really need some really good gear that can emotionally go up and down the scale and make this sound relevant. If this doesn't sound relevant, listening to these 3 a cappella tracks, then you're most likely going towards what I would think is a more of a hi-fi track type of sound, where it's more dominating, it's more cool. It might be a bit more about the specs instead of the true substance of the sound. That's just me guessing. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. These are just my 3 clues to how I kind of guide myself towards gear that's good and setting it up in a way that's good. So you might just have the gear that you think is perfect for you. Then just use this to tune in that gear, so you can elevate your sound to a higher level. So I hope that helps you guys, and like and subscribe if you can. Bye.